All right, welcome to Making Picks. We've got a little bit of a new format for Making Picks now. If you happen to see, we've set aside the Statement Games Live to be more of the business side episode, and then now we get into the sports with Making Picks. Mark, how are you doing today?
Definitely doing all right here. So we'll drop the link of the business program in the show notes as well, just in case people want to go check it out here. I'm excited with with the new format here. Get an opportunity to spend a little bit more time just talking about sports as opposed to just trying to cram everything into one show. Really want to thank everybody who's been checking these shows out here and giving us the feedback that has led to this decision, so to speak. So hopefully, we'll continue to have some fun. But this is going to be, just to set the record straight here, a little bit more informal. So
Yeah.
You might hear some more colorful words. There might be some rhetoric that might not necessarily be acceptable from a business perspective. And this is where we're going to freaking do it. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you let everyone know why they should be listening to this show and playing?
We're gonna make it short and simple here, because I'm basically giving you an opportunity to risk absolutely jack shit but win some cash. How about that here? So we've kind of stripped out some of the fluff that may have been applicable from the business side of things here. Why you should be listening to this show, because every once in a while we do give some good picks. Other people, and we'll touch upon that. Do a better job than others, but I am giving you an opportunity to pick up some great insight as you think about some of these upcoming sporting events that are prominent in the sporting world, as well as StatementGames.com. And as a result, for your participation and willingness, I am going to come to the table with cash or a check or Venmo or PayPal, whatever the hell it is that may be. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to win something through a little bit of a different form of fantasy sports.
Nice. Awesome. So let's jump into the hot topics. Starting off, we've got some legends retiring. I'm gonna pull up your stuff here, but that's we're losing two major players, major quarterbacks in the NFL. One is for sure. Philip Rivers announced that he will be retiring, while Drew Brees, he went out of the game. That was Sunday, I believe. Looking up at the stands, looking at everything, he had the image of looking at the scoreboard. He hasn't fully committed to the retirement, but everything's kind of going that way. What do you think about this, Mark? Seeing these guys go out.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's a little sad, but then again, in the same breath, you're having to watch these guys perform at such a high level over an extended period of time here. You just become a little bit more appreciative of the sport. And I mean, what I'm thinking right now is shit, I'm getting fucking old here, is what I'm actually thinking. I've pretty much seen. Yeah, I mean, it was his whole 18-year career from a Breeze perspective. 15 years for Rivers. I definitely, as a Giant fan, I don't think I, hide or, put any particular shade the fact that I'm a Giant fan. Just literally watching that draft like it was yesterday between Eli Manning going to San Diego at number one, the Giants actually drafting, Philip Rivers, and then having that whole trade, take place here. It's a lot. It just signifies and shows the changing of a guard, so to speak. So that's what's thinking at the top of my head. I know that there's a lot of
It's interesting from a team perspective. The Saints have been battling with, I don't know, I'll say it. They've been battling the refs the last 5 years in the playoffs, more so than any team. And to see Drew Brees each time trying to make it to just one more Super Bowl, just get that one for that last one for Brees, and then them getting kind of scammed out of the playoffs. That's sucked, and I guess now over. And then you got Philip Rivers, who leaves San Diego or leaves LA, the Chargers, in goes to the Colts, where the Colts just last year had their quarterback retire, Andrew Luck, and now here it is. I don't know what team in the NFL has ever had two like Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks retire one after the other.
And just to kind of correct myself here, I had it was 18 playoff games for Breeze. Basically, was what he's kind of gone through. He played in the NFL for 20 years. So I just wanted to correct a little mistake that I actually had here. But and kind of taking a look at some of my notes here. I mean, definitely kind of an impressive career from a Breeze perspective. But I'm going to throw this kind of number at you. Basically, 269. Actually, let's just call it 270 million is what Breeze has earned over his 20 years in the NFL. 270 million. So,
damn,
not bad at all. Looks like 255, 256 million of that actually came over the course of 15 years with the Saints. So if he does decide to play here in 21, it's an additional 25 million that he stands to kind of pick up here. But first ballot Hall of Famer. Count up all the freaking stupid records that he actually has here. A lot of kind of money. Great guy, beautiful family. I think might be a little bittersweet and watching him walk away from the game today. But at the end of the day, he's going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's seeing both these guys go. Not necessarily. I mean, I'd say Breeze. I mean, both of them made the playoffs, so they're still slinging. They're still pretty close to the top. They're doing high caliber football. But as we saw with Drew Brees, he had an injury that took him out for I don't know 3 to 6 weeks during the season. Like, he's not a young guy. I don't know, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did come back if some lingering stuff kept him away, and it just isn't it's got to be tough to go through and everything. But congrats to these guys. Glad to have watched them. I'll always have that when we talk about Hall of Fame quarterbacks and going back to say I watched Drew Brees, I've watched Phillip Rivers, great guys.
If we just stick with Brees for a second,
sure.
Is there a game or a play or what kind of sticks out to you the most when you think about Drew Brees? Well, what's the one thing that you'll take away?
I would probably say when I first started getting into football was the Super Bowl where he took the Saints and won. That was, I think, my first Super Bowl, not my first Super Bowl party, but when I started paying attention to football, that was my first Super Bowl. And it was, it was great. And that was, leading New Orleans after Katrina, all of those, storylines with that. I think that's probably the one thing that I would go turn to when thinking about him.
Yeah, got a little bit of a love hate kind of a relationship here. Always kind of liked him. Watched a lot of him at the University of Purdue. A couple of different Purdue Michigan games. I remember kind of locking in them on. I remember a couple of different moments that took place out in San Diego and the actual eventual move from San Diego to New Orleans. But I actually remember the exact date in which I actually started hating Drew Brees, and it took me a while for me to kind of get over it. And eventually I started rooting for him again, just because of I guess you go in sports. I kind of feel that people, you start out watching them, they get kind of good, and you become a fan of them, and then they kind of become so good to a point where it kind of pisses you off. You know what I'm saying? And then they kind of fall a little bit from grace here. They get older in their career. And then as they get older, you jump back on their bandwagon again because you want to see them kind of go out one last time.
Yeah.
So I just remember it was, let's see here, it was probably around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was Christmas Eve on, I believe it was 2006. I am with my brother. I'm at the Meadowlands. The Saints are playing the Giants on Christmas Eve. Of course, it's holiday season. You're all kind of like, in good spirits, and you're looking forward to a game at the end of the first quarter. Giants are up kind of like, 7-3.
Mm.
And then Drew Brees just absolutely fucking kicks the shit out of the Giants. The Saints blow the Giants out. Final score was 30-7. I remember, driving home on Christmas Eve, pissed off at Drew Brees and the world. And let's just say it took a little while for me to get over that game. The Giants did, wind up going on to win the Super Bowl the following year. But I just kind of like remember, him kind of like literally torching the Giants, moving that team kind of like up and down kind of like in the field. And at that time, I mean, that's when I really started to hear a lot of rhetoric about how Tom Coughlin should be let go of the Giants, and too old, doesn't necessarily stand the culture of kind of like today's NFL. And I can point back, and it's the start of that all being as the result of Drew Brees and him being an asshole, beating up on the Giants on a holiday of all sorts.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's I mean, fuck. I think that he's done his share of beating up on a lot of teams.
Yeah, yeah.
The Lions, the past few times, have been able to keep up with him, but I know that there was what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, that huge scoring game between the Lions and it was just a showdown of Matthew Stafford versus Drew Brees, and it was just back and forth. I want to say like it got pretty close to the highest scoring game in NFL history. It had to have been over 80 points total, and it was just I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, because it was just the Lions fan and me kept thinking we had a chance, and at the end we had no chance, because Drew Brees just came back and I think scored 2 touchdowns like in the matter of a couple minutes. It was just insane. But he's wild. That's what I got to say about that. But let's move on to the next topic here. Did you have another slide?
Well, just a quick. I mean, we can kind of like a different slide here, but I guess the other question is Philip Rivers. I mean, what do you think? Gun to your head right now here. Hall of Famer, not a Hall of Famer? What's your thoughts on Rivers?
Career-wise, I think that he is definitely Hall of Fame caliber. He's definitely got a lot of records and the longevity of his career. As far as
6th in passing yards and passing touchdowns, passing yards, probably about 60,000 yards, 397, TDs. I understand different game from, some of the old school guys like an Elway and Marino and things like that here, but still, just take a look at the organizations that he's actually played for. I mean, yeah, I guess, pretty good team on Indianapolis here, but it wasn't that long ago where Phil Rivers, basically took his team to 14-2, and then they wound up firing the coach kind of like in the offseason because they lost like one of those early stage games to the Jets or something like that. But
yeah,
5 different coaches, franchise moving, different kind of cities, not necessarily the most stable of environments. Heck of a player, despite all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a running joke with my co-host, who nicknamed him Laserface, but that he is the perpetual Philip Rivers purgatory is down by 1 score, length of the field, 2 timeouts, and like under 1 minute to go. Like that, if you ever watch any Philip Rivers game that matters, and this even came down to his Colts game over the in the playoffs, it's like nothing matters through the whole game until the very end when he gets the ball under 2 minutes, and it's always length of the field, 2 timeouts to win the game, and usually he throws a pick or something to and costs him, because that's just kind of what his play style boils down to. But I think that it'll be interesting to watch what happens with Rivers in a Hall of Fame sense, because I feel like Matthew Stafford's going to get the same treatment. Never won a Super Bowl, kind of with playoffs, but has, different records and passing yards and all that, and that's kind of stuff. So I think Stafford will
different
probably
coaches. Maybe if he was in a
of,
Pittsburgh or something like that, you could be talking about Stafford in his Hall of Fame candidacy, so to speak. Just like you're talking about, Breeze and Rivers.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So
we'll see. All right. Well, I guess the other thing that I wanted to talk about here, just because it's history, I feel kind of like remiss if we actually didn't miss it. But obviously, a lot of political news, right? A lot of controversy and things like that. I happen to come across some proof. I'm going to be showing the visuals right now. But we did have a new president take office this week. A lot of controversy in the state of Pennsylvania. Voter fraud, election integrity, local governing officials changing the rules of the game here. A lot of particular reasons as to why Biden kind of overcome the state of Pennsylvania, and ultimately kicked Trump's ass in the city of Philadelphia. But I got some proof, and I actually wanted to show it. I wanted to call it out. I'm a little disturbed by it. I'm sure 90% of the listening world will agree with me. But all those different things that you may have been hearing kind of in the news on how Biden won the city of Philadelphia, how he ultimately won the state of Pennsylvania and became the new president of the United States, isn't necessarily because of everything that you may have heard here. I got the picture right here. This joker went ahead and he bought off all the Flyers fans. So he bought off all the Flyers fans. They all voted for him, and the rest is kind of history. So here it is. I don't think that the new president is off to a good start, in my opinion, just because everybody knows that the Rangers rule and the Flyers suck. But not a good start, not a good look for the president. Not necessarily, everything that I think the normal person would want to see act and conduct themselves as a president of the United States, kind of like associating themselves with this disgusting orange color and things like that, with Biden on the back and being proud of it. But I don't know. I'm a little disturbed by it. I'll kick it over to you for your thoughts and comments. Let's go Rangers. All right, Joe. How about that?
Yeah. Huh. That's an interesting theory there. I think I like it.
I cracked it. Here's the proof. The proof is right here. He bought all of them off. The city of Philadelphia flocked to Joe. Next thing you know, he wins the state, and the rest is history. This is how he got in. Bribes, political corruption here.
Yeah, it's just
sucking up to a bunch of weak-minded Flyer fans. That's why I'm looking at it.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that's one way of thinking for sure.
You can't dispute physical evidence and proof. It's right here. Right in front of you. I'm sure nobody else is going to be picking this up and broadcasting it across the other fake news channels or fake news podcasts. But you heard it right here. I'm showing it to you.
The QAnon theory is right
QAnon
here.
theory, all that stuff, right here. Just so that the new president knows, that I know, and this show knows, we know how you got in, buddy.
Yeah. Nice.
And we're keeping, close watch on you from this point forward.
There it is. Okay.
There it is.
Of keeping a close
Congratulations to the new president. Let's hope that we get some good things and some things kind of back in order as we move forward with the pandemic in 2020.
Stability would be nice. Yes.
Yeah.
But talking about stability, talking about
stability,
keeping an eye on something.
Thing,
let's talk about the review of Baltimore versus Buffalo.
Rough week here. So let's see here. You know what? Let's You know, I guess we'll come. I have the picture of our picks. I didn't put it in like one of the visuals, but I have it in. I'm not sure if you can have it. It's in our most recent Skype chat here, but we did make some picks in last week's show. We were pretty much all over the Baltimore Ravens Buffalo Bills game here, leading up to this week's Championship Sunday. I really can't think of a time in where, look, I was hot. I ran my mouth a little bit here. I was extremely confident with my picks. And this is one of those situations here and where, hey, you know what? You keep messing with the bull and, you're going to get the horns at some particular point here. So when you take a look, what I actually did here, I had Buffalo as an absolute lock. I pretty much would have bet the mortgage on it. I really didn't give enough thought into consideration into the weather factor leading up to the day in Buffalo. I thought it was cool that there was an opportunity for snow, but it looked like that those swirling winds or the conditions up in Buffalo weren't necessarily, ideal for passing the ball or ideal for an offensive perspective in general, and I paid for it. I had the Buffalo over 26.5 points as an absolute, dead set lock. Couldn't have been more wrong. Didn't even come close here. Buffalo finished the game with 17 points. I thought that, Josh Allen over 275.5 yards passing was a steal. Way off on that one. Allen 23 for 37, 206 yards passing, 1 TD, and no INTs, but a good, 70 yards short of coming close to what I was projecting as the over. I was right on this particular regard here. I did have Buffalo laying 2.5 points. So final score, Baltimore 3, Buffalo 17, won by a good, 14 points here. On the other hand, I don't know what's going on with you, dude. You gotta get your back on the ball. I mean, is this the second of 3 possible weeks in 2021 here? We're putting up a fucking goose egg. I mean, a goose egg.
This is bad.
Your freaking nickname should be 0.
I left all my luck.
The number of picks you get correct on a weekly basis. Let's review what you actually have here. So you actually had Lamar Jackson over 2.5 TDs. Now you were actually getting combined. It could have been a combination of rushing and passing. Sorry, dude. I mean, no TDs at all. Finished the game going 14 of 24, 162 yards passing. No TDs, no INTs. You actually were also projecting a higher scoring of a game, not necessarily a 17-3 game here. And I can't really fault you on this one here because, I didn't see it coming. But your over 50.5 points pick was incorrect. So that's another one here. And I'm looking at some notes, and I completely butchered your third pick. But now that I have it right here, you had the Baltimore Ravens over 24.5 points. 3 points for a game isn't going to cut it, dude. You got to score a little bit more points if you're gonna want to go over. So, 1 for 3 for me, 0 for 3 for you. Taking a look at the point totals, that's 11 for 15 for Team Mark. Still picking games at 7 or making picks at 73.3%. Which is down when considering leading into that game here. I was at an 83.3% here. Pretty hard for me to stay at that level or even go up. I think there was only one way but down for me. But nonetheless, that's a 10-point drop from a percentage perspective for Team Mark. On the other hand here, it's pretty hard to go down from 41.6%. I mean, I can flip a coin and have a better percentage for you. True. 5 for 15 for Team Nate for 2021, bringing your totals down to 33.33%. We are back at it again with this segment of making picks. We'll focus in on the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to let you know that I'm just spotting you for points before my absolute comeback.
Keep spotting. Hey, if you want to look at it where you just 6 picks down in the win column, if we're going the baseball route here, that's fine. But if you're talking about, hey, you know what? If I brought home a math test and that math test shows a 41% out of it, hey, I'm going to have a conversation with mom and dad at some point here.
Yeah.
I bring home a math test.
What about that bonus pick that you threw in last week? The what was it? Cole Beasley.
I made it perfectly clear that didn't necessarily count. I was giving some bonus advice. But
so you're 0 for 1 on bonus advice.
I am 0 for 1 on bonus advice. If you want to go ahead and do that,
there we go.
But I wouldn't be focusing on my shortcomings here. I mean, you got some pretty big problems with yourself.
Well, let's see if I can turn it around this week. Let's see if
let's go, man. Let's get this thing. Let's throw this
monkey off my back.
Yeah, let's throw the Ravens Bills game completely out the window, and let's start fresh. New game, new week here. Let's what do we got?
On to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Green Bay Packers. What are you seeing in this game, Mark? Where are we looking? What are we looking at here?
I'm a little torn here. So, and I'm a little gun shy after running my mouth extensively last week here, and then going kind of like a 1 for 3 and a 0 for 1 on the bonus picks here. When I think of this game here, I can't think about week 6. I mean, I understand that it's months ago. It's extremely early in the season, but I definitely remember watching that game fairly vividly. Tampa Bay Buccaneers spotting the Green Bay Packers 10 points in the first particular quarter, and then physically watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the living shit and destroy the Green Bay Packers in that game. Another, I believe final score was 30-7. I have to go back and look here, but it wasn't pretty for the Packers. Different time, different game. Winner take all. You're advancing to the Super Bowl. Lambeau Field, completely different atmosphere. I'm not sure, but I think they're bumping it up here. I think it's going to go from about 10,000 to maybe like 13 or 14. I could be mistaken. I could actually just be making this up here, but I believe there's going to be some more people, some more fans in the building, kind of like in Green Bay here. They were noticeable last week. I'm not sure if you picked up on that as you were kind of like watching that game here, but that was by far the loudest 10,000 fan sporting event that I've actually seen. I guess they kind of kept everybody in that lower bowl, which it made a pretty cool atmosphere. I enjoyed watching the game. I guess they stayed away from the upper decks and things like that here, but I think those fans did a pretty good job in getting their team kind of prepared, and I'm expecting a little bit more of the same here. So when I think back of what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did to Green Bay in week 6 in comparison to just what the role the Packers have been on right now here, I'm a little torn. I got a couple different ideas of where I'm leaning towards from a pick perspective here, but that's what I'm thinking about leading into this game. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, so we were talking about legends in the hot topics, and Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, and I just feel like this. Now we're looking at the living legends that are still in the NFL: Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and yeah, I get it. We were way off base with the Buffalo Bills and Baltimore, but you're also talking about 2 quarterbacks there that are of the new guard. You got Josh Allen, you've got Lamar Jackson. These guys have, Lamar Jackson probably first time really playing in the cold, and Josh Allen, this is his breakout year. So looking at Tom Brady, looking at Aaron Rodgers, these guys have been there. They know what to do. They know how to attack from different angles and get things to happen. I don't know about you, but I'm on board with this having some points. Now, whether it's the whatever total 51.5 that the over under on statement games right now, I don't know if it's the over, but I think it's close.
I think that's a good line. I think they're kind of spot on here. I really don't think you can kind of change it from that here. It's actually similar to what I was actually thinking leading into last week's game with the Ravens and the Bills here. So I'm a little gun shy on point totals at this particular point. Cold weather, a little tight, especially maybe like in the first quarter and a half, some time coming off the clock here, and then seeing some like these bigger offensive plays kind of taking place here, and where points can come on the board here. So I can see the under. I can also see the over, because after all here, you're still looking at Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be betting them in the defensive category whenever these two guys either play each other or anybody for that kind of matter here. It's a recipe for disaster if you're looking to fiddle with under numbers with so much on the line, with such perennial winners in this league for a number of years.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into it, Mark, why don't you just explain, like, what are people playing for? How do you play? What is this game that we're talking about?
Sure. So we're going to be reviewing in a couple of seconds here, and I can't stress it. This is a free-to-play game. Statement Games is a free-to-play game. We've invented a little bit of a different twist on fantasy sports. And what we're going to be showing you in a second here is it's a game that's focused on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Green Bay Packers contest. What we actually do is we're going to be presenting you with a list of props or game props, player props, or hence the company name statements that's specific to the sporting event here. It's going to be about 50 to 60 of them. It's your job to go through this list, pick 10 of them. You rank them in order of confidence from 10 through 1. As the sporting event plays out, if your number 10 pick becomes correct, you get 10 points. If 9 through 1 are incorrect, well, now you just have a total of 10 points. You will play in a league of anywhere between 8 to 12 people, depending on what your fancy is, and the person with the most points from correct picks at the end of this contest wins. So although it's free to play, anybody who is watching this video, and you'll confirm that you're watching this video by dropping your username in the comment section below. Anybody who is watching this video who can go 10 for 10 with their picks, I'm going to cut you a check for $100. On top of that, anybody who's watching this video and you're a VIP member of Statement Games and you become the overall tournament winner, there's going to be about 3,000 coins that are topped up into your account. Of course, all of these coins or credits can be exchanged for a cash gift card of your choice. It's about $30 right now. So here we go. Let's just do a little recap here, right? Nathan, how much are you risking to play this game?
Nothing.
Okay. However, although you're risking nothing, you have an opportunity to win $100 if you
drop my username in the comments and go 10 for 10.
Correct. And if you're a VIP member and you happen to be the overall tournament winner, what happens then?
You get 3,000 coins.
There you go. And you can exchange those 3,000 coins for
Amazon gift cards, many different gift cards.
Anything you want. Anything you want, dude. So, again, I promised at the beginning of the show here that we're giving you an opportunity to win stuff here. Don't say that we don't do anything for you.
Yeah.
Give me a chance to play a game, have a little fun. You're going to be watching this game kind of like, anyway, because what else are you doing on Sunday? Let's be honest.
Right.
So you have a little fun with a different form of fantasy sports. You watch the game. You make some picks. You interact with us. Give us some feedback. And there's some cool shit that you can win.
Yeah.
There absolutely. You go. There's my rant. I'm actually I like that.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good one.
Cut that up. I might put that on my Facebook profile, but whatever. Different story for a different day.
Nice. Well, so you do all of that, and then sometimes you take our advice, and some of us are not at the best percentage, and some of us have really bad bonus advice percentages. And so, like, when all is said and done, and you're coming at us, Mark, tell them what happens.
And it's funny because when I'm rolling, I don't hear anything, but when you're losing, that's when the chirping kind of like even ramps up in terms of intensity. But just always keep in mind whether you're coming after me, you're coming after you, you're coming after the show, you're coming after the platform in terms of trying to get the platform's coin so that you can exchange it for whatever you want. Just understand this: when you're messing with us, you're messing with.
All right, so the Buccaneers Packers tournament on Statement Games is being sponsored by Into the Labs podcast featuring Ernest Silva. Sports updated news, trends, and analytics in the NBA and NFL. Connect with this show and others on Blue Collar Media. There's a link in the show notes. But with that, let's jump into our picks. Kick it off, Mark. We're kind of shooting from the hip here, so
yeah, let's see what we can do here. So this is what I'm actually thinking: Lambeau Field, cold, have an opportunity for some good offensive teams to move the ball. I think both coaches are going to be playing for touchdowns out of potential fear of what the other team can actually do. So I don't see teams settling for field goals.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that weather can play a factor in where, hey, you're not going to feel as comfortable trying to line up for a 50-yard field goal. So if you kind of take that, let's call it, 42 to 50-yard field goal opportunities out of the equation, less kind of opportunities and things like that here. I think the line on Ryan Scopey is too high. So give me good old Ryan under 2.5 field goals as my top pick.
All right, kicker in the top 10. Here we go. So let me think here. So if you looked at the game last week with Tampa Bay and Leonard Fournette just balling, just going out and playing like crazy, and I gotta say, just looking at these numbers for the first thing, Leonard Fournette at a 0.5 touchdown possibility. I'm going to take the over on that. I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have kind of put some confidence into Leonard Fournette. You're going up into Lambeau Field where it's cold. This is going to be a perfect recipe for some rushing. And regardless of whether or not, it's Leonard Fournette, moving the ball down the field, there are going to be times where, Tom Brady's on the goal line and, they're going to take a couple attempts with rushing it over the end zone, into the end zone. And so all I got to get is one. I'm taking those. I'm taking that chance that Leonard Fournette is going to do that.
Cool. I'm getting a little nervous now because I think you and I are thinking on the same page. And the fact that you flat out suck at making picks makes me a little nervous. So I just want to throw that kind of out there. I like that pick a lot here. I was actually thinking about kind of doing the same exact thing. But in addition to that pick here, I'm going to take it one step further. I totally feel that Tampa Bay is going to have to, run the ball like a little bit here if they want, any, opportunity to really stay in this game and kind of compete. So I'm going to take it one step further. I'm getting both of them. I'm getting Ronald Jones too. I'm also getting Fournette. The two of them combined, I just need them combined, their rushing yards combined, to go over 65.5 rushing yards. So I'm locking that one in, and I like your number 9 pick, and I really feel good about this number 8 pick that I actually made, which is Ronald Jones 2 plus Leonard Fournette over 65.5 yards rushing.
Yeah, no, that was going to be, where I was going with it next. So good for you for taking my pick. And so let me look in here and see what we got for some quarterback play because, Aaron Rodgers, Lambeau Field, he is a gunslinger. He can throw the ball around, and whether it's cold or whatever, he's used to it. And he's got some great receivers out there. So I'm going to actually take Aaron Rodgers to go over 25.5 completions because really that's not a big number when it comes to a full game. And Aaron Rodgers is a passing quarterback and will even pass to his running backs. So, you get Aaron Jones in there, Devontae Freeman, or no, that was Devontae Adams. And then, Adam Lazard and Marcus Valdez-Scantling, all of these different places he spreads the ball to, easily 25.5 completions right there.
All right, I think I can see it here. I think you left the door open for me a little bit here. I thought you were going to go in a completely different direction. I'm glad you didn't. And now I actually feel that I'm again stealing a little bit of your thunder from past weeks here. If I take a look at the elements, you do have the opportunity for points to kind of be put up on the board. I am leaning more towards the Packers winning this game than I am kind of Tampa Bay. Older quarterback, less kind of mobile, having to throw the ball to get back into the game late or to potentially kind of win. I really like the Green Bay Packers defense over 2.5 sacks.
Ooh, okay.
Playing
That's
well.
an interesting one. it's funny because I think I was going to go the opposite way.
I thought you were going to go kind of like, somewhere in the defensive kind of like, category.
Yeah.
I understand that Tampa Bay likes to blitz a lot.
To be
Obviously,
honest,
you got JPP and things like that, but
yeah.
and
I
Tom
don't
Brady's
know.
got a quick release too. But Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers is definitely not holding onto the ball, long. So I didn't want to go in the Tampa Bay kind of like direction. I understand that. I guess it's still 2.5 on Tampa Bay as well, but I really think
I think
Green
I'd
Bay is
be
going to put some pressure
interested.
on Tampa Bay. I just need 3 sacks.
Yeah.
You figure maybe one early in the first half. Get me something else in early in the second half here, and then I could see kind of like another two taking place late
Mm-hmm.
with Brady holding onto the ball a little bit longer, trying to make a play down the field to either win the game or get the team back into the game, at some point midway or late in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to take, again, the Green Bay Packers over 2.5 sacks as my last pick. No bonus picks
This
for me today.
this one's interesting in the fact that I kind of don't like either team for like a lot of sacks. So now we let this stand. This is your pick, and I 100% behind you. But what do you say as some side action? Just over under amount of sacks between either team. Like if either of them get to 3 sacks, I will. I don't know. You name the terms.
Oh man, let's see. I mean, and I understand the Saints only had 1 sack against Brady kind of like last week here. So, but it's we're both going to pick a team, and
No. I will take both teams as under 3
both teams,
sacks,
both teams under 3 sacks,
or
under
under
three
2.5.
sacks.
I'll take
You're
both
going to
teams
take
under 2.5. So if they get to 3, either team.
what kind of feel you're giving me like a little bit of advantage because I get both teams. You have to kind of
Yeah,
like hit
yeah.
on two.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
see
No,
here.
I just don't think that there's going to be this defensive ability. I guess I like both. While Tom Brady's not mobile, it's still Tom Brady, and they've got a very good offensive line. And then Aaron Rodgers does Aaron Rodgers things where,
I don't
you
know. I
know,
mean, do you see? I mean, I understand that he was kind of like going to hurt too, but you see what Green Bay did to Goff last week?
yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying I'm willing to put something up here and say just neither team gets more than 2.5 sacks. You
Either
think on it.
team. Yeah. Let's think about it. Follow us on social media. If you got an idea what the term should actually be, I already owe you a mohawk, so
Yeah.
I'm a little.
Well,
So we're going to do that here. Maybe we can get some comments and we can kind of finalize the terms of the bet leading up into Sunday.
yeah, that sounds good to me. Okay, so I went with Aaron Rodgers and the completions, and I think I'm being a little bit conservative with where my picks are just because of, the deficit that I'm in. But I like Davante Adams being a big part of this game plan. Aaron Rodgers is going to have to rely on his major players to be able to get up and ahead of Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks. And I think throwing to Davante Adams 8 times isn't that difficult of a thing to do, in a game. So I'd really put Davante Adams over 7.5 receptions. He's going to have to be thrown at. So that's just going to have to
All right.
happen.
I'll throw in. I just think he's kind of like a non-factor. Again, these are lower in kind of like on my rankings and things like that. But I'll still continue to ride Ron Gronkowski under 3.5 receptions. Too much kind of talent between the wide receivers, the running backs, and things like that. Here, there's just kind of not enough balls to go around. He might actually make one, maybe two, one big play in the end zone, maybe like one other decent play at some point, down the middle and things like that here. But I don't see Gronkowski being a major factor on the offensive side of the ball for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. No, I think that Gronk is very specialized with Brady. and I also think that Gronk has gotten kind of too old to be as reliable as Brady tries to make him, because last week we saw Gronk drop a touchdown. So, it could have gotten me closer to having at least one correct statement, even though that was one of my bonus statements. Something could have been great. But yeah, so with that, I'll fill this out off air. It is now, if you play against SG Live, you're playing against us. So I was able to change my username, and that kind of.
Oh, you changed your username.
Yeah,
it's SG Live. Okay,
it's SG Live. So still my account, but we're running it as SG Live since it is where we're doing most of these picks. But with that, we'll also, if you have an idea of what we should be at stake between Mark and I for our side bet on sacks in this game, I like that Mark's stepping into my domain a little bit with the IDP, the defense. But I'm curious. I very well could be wrong. Very well could be wrong, and I'm willing to put something up and see what comes of it. It's some stakes here. Maybe this might be a solid one. I could send you a pizza, a local. I'll pay for a pizza.
All right, we can do that. Maybe we'll do a local delivery from a Chinese or pizza place or something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
All right,
That's
all right. I can live with that.
We'll run with that unless someone comments.
It's not as sexy or as look. We'll start stepping things up as we do more shows.
Absolutely. So, but with that, it was great time with our new making picks reorganization. But make sure you're following on all social media at Statement Games. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where you're seeing this, and play StatementGames.com. So with that, Mark, we'll see how we do. And see if I can make any progress out of this.
Let's start with one. Let's start with one correct pick, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Just got to stack them. One foot in front of the other.
One foot in front of the other. Let's get one correct pick, and then we'll work on getting two. Next thing you know, we're shooting for the hip and trying to go 3 for 3. That's how we're gonna approach this week and some of the upcoming weeks.
For sure. All right, Mark. Catch you later.
Catch you later. All right.